A bill is filed at the Senate to exempt some workers from income tax to raise their take-home pay. To tell us more about his proposal, we're joined by Senator Sherwin Gatchalian. Senator, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ron. Good afternoon to our televiewers.
First of all, sir, great name for the bill. It's called the Granting Increase in Take-Home Pay for All Working Filipinos Act, or GINHAWA. Could you tell us more about the features of this bill?
Well, we coined that term or the short title, so that's easy to remember and also reflect the intention of the bill to give ginhawa to our income earners. So currently, the basic concept of this bill is really to help out our middle class and lower middle class income earners. And some of the features of the bill is, for example, right now, if an income earner is earning 250,000 a year, that's tax exempt or income tax exempt. So we're raising that to 400,000 a year. If you're earning bonus around 90,000, currently the bonuses accumulated to an amount of 90,000 per year is exempted also from income tax. So we're raising that also to 150,000 a year. We're also exempting service charge, overtime pay, hazard pay, night differential pay from income tax, because these are payments or these are compensation that is due to the nature of your work. For example, hazard pay is given to jobs that are hazardous, and now government still collects 30% from that hazard pay. Well, in fact, the hazard pay is meant to cover the hazards in your employment.
Right. Sir, I do want to ask, what do you think are the conditions or the information that you have that made you think that this is the right time to raise the tax-exempt threshold to 400,000 and also exempt the taxes for services, hazard pay, and overtime?
Well, Ron, the last time that we imposed the threshold, the 250 threshold, and the other thresholds, was 2017. That was when the Trillion Law was enacted.
Right.
And as we all know, inflation shot up year by year. And there was 1 year that inflation went up past 3%. So in other words, to 250,000 in 2017 is nowhere near the 250,000 right now. Purchasing power has eroded over the last 7-8 years. So we're just adjusting the threshold to what is currently factored in with inflation. So the 400,000 that we are proposing is just fair because purchasing power has been eroded by inflation.
Just for a better picture for our viewers, primarily those who will be benefiting from this will be those who are earning from 250,000 to 400,000, because you're raising the ceiling. All those who were earning 250,000 below have felt this before. Would you be able to give us a figure of how much more people can put in their pockets for that bracket?
Well, right now, Ron, so for example, if you are earning 400,000, that means you are exempted from income tax. So maybe rough computation will be around, if you're earning around 400,000, rough computation will be around 20 to 30,000 pesos additional take home with that 400,000 income threshold. Because right now, on the average, government will take between 20% to 30% of your income. That includes mandatory deductions, other deductions, including income tax. So roughly maybe around 20,000 will be an additional take home to those who are earning 400,000.
That's still going to be a big deal for a lot of people.
That's substantial. But Ron, we have to also remember that inflation from 2017 to 2025 has gone up tremendously. We've seen spikes in oil prices. We've seen spikes in the prices of rice. So meaning this is just fair to income earners because their purchasing power has been eroded for the last many years.
Speaking of that, though, Senator, a higher take-home pay for workers could lead to more spending, which could lead to higher prices. Aren't you concerned that this could lead to higher inflation?
Well, typically these are middle class to lower middle class income earners. So meaning they will buy basic commodities. This income bracket will not buy luxury goods or watches or bags. They'll probably buy basic commodities such as food, medicine, and pay their electricity bills. So even though there will be some, and I admit this, there will be some revenue erosion from the government, but it will be returned in the form of consumption and VAT. So we are hoping that this will just offset one another. In terms of inflation, this is just minimal. We don't think this is inflationary. The added, like I said, the added savings for income, this income bracket will translate into commodities that are basic in nature.
Are you seeing any economic returns for this in the long run for the government?
This is basic. The basic concept is additional purchasing power for this income bracket, and we see that this income bracket will spend their money for basic commodities, even let's say electricity bills or water bills, and as we all know, this type of basic commodities are charged with VAT. So government will now collect more VAT. And the value-added tax collected by government can replace the potential revenue loss from income tax.
And it could work well for us because we have a consumption-driven economy.
Correct. Majority of our economic growth is driven by consumption.
Okay, I do have a couple of questions about the tax-free bonus cap. The cap on the bonuses, you chose to raise it to 150,000. How did you arrive at that number, and what's the basis of this? Just more take-home pay for everyone, for those in the bracket?
Well, the basic formula, Jan, is to factor in inflation. So we just adjusted everything by the inflation factor, and we reached that number. But we added, of course, a little bit more. But the basic foundation there is inflation.
Aren't you concerned of criticisms from those who are the higher income earners, higher income employees? They might say that you're just targeting, as you mentioned a while ago, the lower middle income bracket.
Well, the middle income and the lower income bracket are also susceptible to price shocks. Whenever there are inflation, whenever there's increased prices in petroleum, these are the income bracket that feels it the most because they're at the middle of the, or they're at the segment wherein they feel a lot of these inflationary effects, such as rice prices or commodity prices. So that's why we made sure that they are given enough buffer whenever inflation spikes up. Of course, in a perfect world, we can give tax relief to the other income brackets, but we chose this income bracket because they are the ones most susceptible to price shocks.
Senator, even with Ginhawa, are you still going to support a legislated wage hike?
Actually, that's a very good question, Ron. In fact, we got a lot of comments from the public that they are saying that instead of giving legislated income hikes, why not pass the Ginhawa bill because it will translate more or less to the same amount. Instead of passing this on to employers and eventually to consumers, why not just let government absorb it because this is just fair in terms of addressing the inflationary effects for the last many years. So that's a very good question. In fact, the public made that proposal. So if I'm going to be asked, this should be given priority. And then if it's not enough, then we talk about legislated wage hikes.
Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, thanks for your time.
Thank you, Ron.